It's Red Sox Now on a Thursday. The Red Sox are off, but they're coming off a great series win against the Rays. They've won back-to-back series at New York, home against Tampa Bay, and then after this day off, they get the Yankees again at Fenway. They have a chance to win three straight series against three great opponents. That's why we're rocking the old school Portland Sea Dogs hat. I worked there from '05 through 19 as their radio broadcaster. It is Red Sox Now. It is presented by FanArch right here on YouTube. I'm Mike Antonellis, your host. You have to subscribe. You have to. You have to comment. We're making you do this. We get some good comments. Make sure to share as well as we're talking Red Sox against Rays. It was a summer night, but I know I've exhausted this point, and I'm okay doing this. And Dave and Lou did it in the first couple of innings, which really, it backed my point up. Dave kept saying, it's crazy what happens with pitching, isn't it? You had three great starts that series. You should have won game one. You did the little things last night. You won a one-run game. You won a game when you scored 4 runs. You've lost a lot of those. But Walker Buehler set the tone. Isn't there a different feeling when your starter's in control of a game? There really is. Error-free, less than 10 strikeouts, but Buehler looked great. And what was another thing we heard last night? Giolito and Buehler throwing more of their fastballs. Buehler saying, I can be stubborn sometimes. I'm trying to, and it's hard for me to change. I'm going back to my old ways. The pitching philosophy, I'm not a fan of. The doing it with secondary pitches when you've told the opponent that's what you're doing, and it's not worked. I mean, it really hasn't. And Buehler and Giolito going back to throwing more heavy fastballs. How many fastballs were these guys laid on last night? And he looked terrific, absolutely terrific. The bullpen, I mean, Weissert had that huge strikeout with the bases loaded, and then Chapman is Chapman. Boy, people were not that pumped about Chapman. Oh, he doesn't have command anymore. I loved it. The fastball of 102, but what a year for him. And like I said, from start to finish, I know the bullpen has had a few hiccups. They have been very consistent. But when you pitch like this, you use guys last night, Wilson, Weissert, and Chapman. You have a day off today. Those guys barely threw. They can all pitch Friday. Now you're all rested. You see what Bayo, Giolito, and Buehler did for the next series. If those guys stunk and you still won 2 of 3 somehow, it would set you up badly this weekend, even with a day off. So those 3 guys have really set you up great for this weekend. And the Yankees played great against the Royals. They've won every game against the Royals this year. But this is the kind of baseball I want to watch. And I've said this a few times. It's the kind of baseball that you're not familiar with as a fan. We haven't seen a heavy-laden starting pitching Red Sox club. So you gravitate to other areas that you get mad at. Because what happens is when you don't pitch consistently, you do the other mistakes get magnified. Right? You score 7 runs and you lose 9-7. You go, they left 13 men. They did this and that. Yeah, but they're starting with 2 innings. And I'm not saying you do this every night, but for most of the season, your starting pitching has not been this consistent. You haven't had 3 starts like this in a row in a while. And they were talking about that last night. This is what we've seen from a lot of Red Sox teams over the last few years, which has not finished high in the standings. We're not used to seeing a run of great starting pitching. And when you do, I'm telling you, the game is beautiful. It really is. And didn't it just, if you watched that game last night, it felt and it looked different. And this guy looks different. You could argue, of course, it's very short, Roman Anthony's career. And Roman Anthony, I think, is going to be a superstar. He did go 0 for last night, 1 for 12 to start his career, but he has 3 RBIs. But Meyer looks like he's been there forever, but that swing. And I think that, with all the young guys up there, if you think about it, Anthony is front page news right now. He is a superstar already. Narvaez, what a story Carlos has been. And then Campbell, who made the club. So there's been other young players that we talk about By the way, Marcelo Meyer has hit 3 home runs. He hits 2 last night. But his ability to play third base, which he didn't play in Worcester, he's gone up there and played third, just the way he goes about it. He looks pretty darn polished. And what a swing. People were talking about Will Clark. Yeah, beautiful left-handed swing. I like that. Just so impressed how he handles himself. And 2 more home runs. By the way, Zach Littell, first pitch on April 16th, I believe, down at Steinbrenner Field. First pitch of the game, Jared Duran jumped on it, 92 miles an hour, grounded out, and he was mad. This was to lead off the game. Last night, first pitch, same spot. He's all over it because I think Littell, I have to go look at his game log, seems to throw a lot of first pitch fastballs to start the game, and Duran was all over this one. I went and looked back because I'm able to go back and look at highlights pretty easily. And Duran got the same pitch last night. He knew that was coming. And the Sox, by the way, hit 4 homers. Duran, Meyer, and Abraham Toro. Unbelievable. 330. We're not talking about a small sample size. He's almost at 100 at-bats. Unbelievable story. He's creating a real issue. When Bregman comes back, how do you sit Abraham Toro? Just great stuff. Great game last night. Little things add up, right? Carlos Narvaez threw out a runner late in that game at third. Situational pitching. You hit 4 home runs. You were 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. You still won the game. Who cares? You didn't strike out as much. Catch and throw the baseball, right? You moved runners over, even though you didn't score. You did the little things. Devers, Anthony, and Story were a combined 0 for 11. That's not a bad thing because you still won. Those are kind of, right now, Story's been your guy. Rafaela had 2 more hits. Meyer, the 2 homers. Toro, 2 hits. But the way you pitched, the way you caught and threw the ball, those little things. You kind of look like the Rays last night. That's how they play. And that's the stuff that you really want to see. All right, if you went to bed, the Red Sox and Twins make a late night trade. Jorge Alcala, a hard-throwing righty from the Dominican, who I have to imagine the Red Sox have been on. He just pitched on the 10th. He gave up 5 runs over an inning and 2/3. He had a good year last year. This year, he's not. A lot of walks. He has a lot of strikeouts. Everything he throws is hard. Not always a good thing. There's not a lot of separation between his pitches. Fastball, 97. Slider, now he's a heavy slider guy. The Red Sox like these guys. Sliders at 90. His changeup averages 91. That's not good separation. Sinkers at 97. Curveball's 85. But the fastball changeup needs to be more of a separator. Josh Beckett ran into this, and he slowed the changeup down. Yeah, we do like velocity, but you can't have every pitch be close to velocity. If the changeup should be in the 80s. But this is a guy that can bring it. Again, look at his numbers. Throwing, he tops out. He averages 97 with the fastball. But he is having a miserable year. So the Red Sox traded Andy Lugo, a Greenville, high A Greenville hitter who has 4 home runs down there in 44 games, a 21-year-old outfielder, utility guy. And Brian Van Bell, he was DFA'd. They just called him up. He didn't pitch. He was DFA'd, so he might not clear, to be honest. We'll see if Van Bell gets claimed. But this is obvious that the Red Sox feel, and are we surprised? Yeah, a little bit, that they need some bullpen help. I didn't think that would be an area that they'd be looking at. But apparently it is, and they like this arm. Not sure if at some point there's another move and Zach Kelly goes back, but they wanted this arm, another hard thrower, in the back end of their bullpen. So that's something I didn't see. Still feel like they need starting pitching. Let me know in the comments section And let's realistically, if there's what you're thinking, I think the Red Sox are still. I mean, they're competing right now. Let's not say that the season's over. All right. So if they make a deal at the deadline, who in what position? You could just say I want starting pitching, but who is someone you would love to see them trade for? For me, it's Sandy Alcantara of the Marlins. I know that might be hard, but you let me know right in the comments section. You also subscribe and have yourself a great Thursday. It's Red Sox Now, presented by Fan Arch here on YouTube. We'll talk to you again on Thursday. No, we'll talk to you again on Friday.